Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
The Greek islands are held with great affection in the hearts of us Brits. Every year, 3 million of us head there for our holidays. And it's easy to see why.
This is Greece, and look at that.
I have a strong affinity with the islands. My mum is Greek. Although she despairs that I still can't speak the lingo.
I'm proud of my Greek heritage, my Greekness.
Look, my nose.
My nose.
But I've only holidayed here, and I've never really explored beyond the tourist trail.
Here we go.
Until now. I'm going to see the hidden side.
Wow, it's so beautiful.
Hello, everybody!
Look at it, it's so lush.
From the historical and rugged terrain of Crete...
Oh, I think I pulled!
...to the glamour of a sunset in Santorini.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Oh, thank you. Oh, look.
But I'll also be taking in the lesser-known islands, from the architectural splendour of Symi to the natural wonder of Scopelos.
Oh, it makes me proud to be just that little bit Greek.
Before ending my journey on the island where my family story first began.
This is a voyage of discovery, and I'm taking you with me. So as you arrive towards Corfu, it's very impressive. Beautiful buildings, very structurally imposing, and very Italian-looking.
They say Corfu is the least Greek of all the Greek islands.
I was talking to my dad before I left for this trip, and when I mentioned Corfu, he said, oh, yes. I think you'll find they have their own cricket club. But I'm expecting the British influence to be quite strong, I think, here in Corfu, because Brits have been coming here on holiday since the 50s. So I'm sure they've left their mark, good and bad.
And so have many other countries. Corfu has spent 7 centuries under foreign rule, making this island a cultural melting pot. Located off the west coast of northern Greece, Corfu has only been a Greek island since 1864. Its capital is Corfu town, and it really doesn't look Greek at all.
Oh, come on. Seriously. It's as if I'm in Venice. Honestly, if you hypnotised me and then plopped me down here and said, where are you? I would bet good money that it was Venice. It's like San Marco Square.
That's because Corfu was ruled by the Venetians for 4 centuries. And my dad Michael was right. They really do play cricket here. Just as surprising as cricket is the abundance of kumquats everywhere, a fruit that's more at home in South Asia.
And in case you don't know what a kumquat is, it's this little thing. It's it's like this big. It's a tiny little citrus fruit. I do know what it is because I happened to taste one when I was 20 and I love them. So I'm quite excited that it's such a big deal over here.
They make everything out of it. Sweets, marmalades, liqueurs.
Definitely a good little gift idea. Look at that. Who wouldn't like that? Gathering dust in their drinks cabinet at home.
And not forgetting the kumquat ice cream.
Happy face. That is an exotic flavour. It tastes like an orange mixed with a lemon with a bit of grapefruit. And it was a Brit that brought kumquats to Corfu, a British botanist. I really like them.
It's Corfu's location on the major shipping route that's responsible for oddities like the kumquat and another Corfiot obsession, spices.
Smoked sea salt, veggie mix, fish and seafood, sweet and spicy potato. Why? Why so many spices?
Now, the Greeks like their spices, but this is a whole new level.
Hello, Katerina.
Hi, welcome.
My nostrils are tingling. What a lovely smell.
welcome.
This aromatic shop is owned by Katerina, and it's her passion. She's a real-life spice girl.
You've got spices from all over the world here.
Well, all of the blends that you see, I personally make them.
So tell me a little bit about the history of Corfu and why there are so many spice shops here.
Well, we were blessed to be part of the Venetian era over 400 years. The Venetians had Corfu, so...
It gave you the lovely buildings.
Yes, yes. Corfu was probably the first island or the area in Greece that had spices.
So this was on the spice route, the Silk Road.
The Silk Road, exactly.
The famous Silk Road.
Yeah.
So they really are spices from all over the world.
Absolutely.
And now the Corfians?
The Corfians,
The Corfians have adopted...
Absolutely. We have
all of
most of
these.
the names of the dishes that they have here in Corfu are Italian names because of the Venetian era.
So what are some of the spices that are particular to Corfu that you won't find anywhere else in Greece?
There's the blend that we have, the most famous one, which is the pastizzada blend.
Pastizzada.
Pastizzada.
That's the tricky bit, because it's a sound...
It's like a TS.
Yeah, tzada. Pastizzada.
Bravo,
Okay,
bravo,
okay.
you're good, bravo, good.
And please tell me that that bubbling over there is pastizzada.
Oh, yes, it is. I cannot have you here and not taste pastizzada.
Patizzada is a 100% Corfiot dish, the signature dish of the island. They eat it at family gatherings on a Sunday, kind of like our Sunday roast. And it's heavy on the spice.
Oh, good Lord.
I know. Inside there is cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, allspice, bit of salt and pepper, some chili pepper, paprika, okay? And I also add a pinch of cumin inside.
In another nod to the Italians, they serve it on a bed of pasta.
It's kind of a hassle, this type of pasta, but...
Oh, OK, this is
That's the whole fun
pretty.
part.
I apologise now.
There you go. How is it? Okay. Okay, I can tell by the look at your face you love it.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm happy.
The flavours, Katerina, are
The aftertaste.
incredible.
The aftertaste is incredible, yeah.
You know what I can taste? I can taste the love. Corfu on a plate.
Well, now I need to work off that patizzada. A good job that Corfu is a great place for walkers. There's a 220-kilometre path called the Corfu Trail that zigzags through the heart of the island from the north to the south. It takes hikers into landscapes untouched by mass tourism. In the north of the island, it's brought me to one of Corfu's best-kept secrets, the abandoned village of Old Perithia. Hidden in the valley of Corfu's highest mountain, this Venetian wonder is a 14th-century time capsule.
Julia!
Hello, Mark.
Hey, great to see you.
Oh, good to see you as well.
Mark is a Brit who runs a B&B in the village with his wife Saskia. They're the driving force behind the restoration of the Old Perithia.
Saskia and I kind of happened upon it about 12 years ago, and we came up here, not really with any intention of doing anything. We just read about a ghost village and wanted to have a look.
So this essentially was an abandoned village.
Yeah.
Why?
The tourist trade kind of started up in the 50s, 60s. And until then, there wasn't tourism. People didn't want to be by the sea. And at that time, the sort of old culture was that you gave land by the sea to the daughters because it was worthless. It was salty, you couldn't grow anything there. The villages would be for the sons. And, of course, that all flipped round when tourism started.
So they just walked away?
So they just walked away. And then nature pretty much took over the whole village.
During the 14th century, Corfu was constantly being raided, so the Venetians built Perithia as a hidden village, where you could see but not be seen.
Because of the pirate attacks on the island.
Pirate, like real-life pirates?
Real-life pirates, Turks, Saracens type of thing.
Yes.
People who owned the houses would have chambers underneath where they could hide, like this, and they would either put their possessions or themselves down here.
This was the
and
hiding
it made
spot.
it safe, yeah.
In its heyday, this village was home to around 1,500 people. But that's hard to imagine looking at the buildings today.
I've got a bit of form renovating old properties, but I have to say, I haven't taken on anything quite as challenging as this.
When Mark arrived, there were only 2 permanent residents. Now, there are up to 20 people who call Perithia home.
I think that's an interesting thing. This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen, all for free. No subscription required.
If you look back here, you start to see how big the village is.
You
and,
do.
how
And
intact.
actually, a lot of those buildings don't look derelict.
Don't look so bad.
Of the original 130 houses, a third of them are now restored or in the process. Properties sell here anywhere from €100,000 to €1 million. But it's not just the houses that have been given a new lease of life.
This church has only recently been restored and reopened, and it had its first baptism after 60 years, just last year.
How old is the church?
I think it dates from about 1300, because the village records go back to 1357. And all of these frescoes were covered in lime. So it was a painstaking process to pick everything off the walls here.
Aren't they beautiful?
It's quite special.
It is very special.
The rejuvenation of the village has even begun to entice back some of the original residents.
Kalispera, I'm good. How are
Julia,
you?
Vasilis.
Nice to meet you.
Vasily is the local beekeeper. He's recently returned to his ancestral home, selling his honey to passing tourists.
How are the bees today? Are they feeling happy and calm?
The bees, you're happy, they're happy, everybody's happy. If you love your job, you make a lot of money.
Vasily spends his days tending to his 7 million bees who live in the 90-year-old pastel blue hives he inherited from his grandfather.
Oh, look at this.
You see the
That's
queen?
the queen, yeah.
Isn't that just magical?
Astonishing, huh?
That is the queen
Yeah,
bee.
this is the queen bee.
She likes us, the queen bee. She's hanging around.
There was a 1 in 80,000 chance of seeing the queen bee. Amazing.
I grow up here with my father. In this place, we have the bees from my grandfather, my father, me, and we continue with my kids,
How old are your children?
8 and 5.
Amazing.
Yes.
So you're handing down this
Yes, they work
to your
with me.
generation.
Yeah, we continue, I think.
Yeah.
What a life, what an existence. It's beautiful.
Perithia was built as the village that couldn't be seen. But now, thanks to the love of these guys, it's finally getting the audience it deserves.
What a special, magical place. And ironically, it was tourism that drove the original settlers away from this village, made it a ghost town. They were chasing the tourist dollar, heading to the coast, heading to the sea. And now it's tourism that brought everybody back and breathed new life into this place.
With a heavy heart, I'm saying my goodbyes to Perithia. But the south of the island beckons, and another majestic Venetian import.
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
I'm in the Greek island of Corfu, and it's not what I was expecting.
If I told you that I was standing here looking out over the island of Corfu, I wouldn't believe me. Look at it, it's so lush and green, and as far as the eye can see, those are olive trees.
I followed the Corfu Trail south to the wild west coast of the island.
This is the tranquil side of Corfu, the peaceful side. Still steeped in history and tradition, but not invaded by tourism.
The landscape here feels like one endless olive grove. The Venetians brought them here in the 16th century, and now there are as many as 4 million olive trees on the island. Not surprisingly, today, olive oil is the most important product of Corfu. Brothers Spiros and Yorgos Daphnis were born into the olive oil business, and they're the architects of an olive oil revolution on the island.
I didn't understand until now how important the olive tree was to Corfu, and there are so many olive trees here.
The olive tree for Corfu and the Corfiots was and remains a living symbol. The majority of the trees around us are between 200 and 500 years old, while the oldest olive trees are even more than 1,500. And you know what, Julia? The incredible feeling, even for us, is anytime we go for harvesting, to realize how many persons and how many generations before of us did exactly the same thing to the same tree, and how many times this tree gives back again and again and again with generosity its own fruits. It's like a contract between human and nature.
So, Julia, let me show you actually our real mother. Well, it's actually...
This is your real mother?
Yes, yes.
I like her already. Oh, it's just like steps.
Yes.
It's not. I can do that.
This wonderful ancient tree was where the boys would play as youngsters and as adults work together now on business ideas.
If I say that we have a great duty today, not only to continue this tradition, but to develop it, to deliver something better from what we receive.
When the two brothers took control of their family business, they inherited a struggling product. Years of prioritising quantity over quality had left the reputation of Corfu olive oil on its knees. They produced a lot of it, but it wasn't very good.
It was like a bet for us to make it something better, to change it. So it's like we sail in unknown waters. So we start with a great vision and a passion that we will succeed.
Spiros and Yorgos turned the rulebook on its head and completely changed the way olive is harvested.
What happens in the past is simply setting under the trees these black plastic nets and waiting until the olives fall alone on the ground. We have to show everybody else that there is an alternative way of collecting the fruits when they are healthy and fresh. We are using the machine that my father right now is working with, or the old but simple way of collecting the fruit. Julia, would you like to try?
Of course.
Let me make you producer for a minute.
Yes. There we go. We've got lots of young, lovely olives. I mean, it's very rewarding, but it takes a long time. I need to have a go with that machine.
Will you try, really?
Yes, of course.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
This clever bit of kit gently tickles the olives from the trees.
I'm getting a lot of leaves. I'm not sure about the olives.
The brothers' philosophy is all about freshness, harvesting the olives when they're alive, when they're young and full of flavour.
Oh. I tell you what, that is hard work. I couldn't do that for 12 hours. Respect.
Thank you very much.
Once they're collected, the olives are brought here to the processing area. They're washed, squeezed, and the olive oil is extracted.
It's a really nice process to watch. And it smells just very earthy.
Within a few years, Spiros and Yorgos have turned Corfu olive oil from a product with a dreadful reputation to one of the very best award-winning oils in Greece.
What I want you to do, Julia, is I want you to take one last deep breath from the olive oil, just like this.
Yeah.
And then I want you to take an olive oil drop in your mouth, close your lips, keep it closed, and then for
That's
3 seconds, I want you to turn it around so to feel it everywhere in your mouth, and between your teeth, take a fast and deep breath like that.
I've been to yoga classes that are less complicated. Okay.
Take an olive oil drop, close your lips, perfect, leave it slowly go down, take a deep breath. You must feel a bitterness.
I do. I'm feeling the bitterness.
And a spicy sense in your throat.
Well, all of that is very spicy, very bitter.
Something I forgot to tell you about.
I thought you were my friend. I thought we bonded today.
Well,
it certainly packs a peppery punch, but olive oil is also thought to have health benefits. In fact, the legendary Greek physician Hippocrates described it as the perfect medicine.
Yamas.
Cheers, yamas.
I'm not ready to leave this corner of Corfu just yet. I came here to discover secrets of the Greek islands, and one particular local secret has definitely caught my attention. Eva, who works at the olive farm, has offered to tell me more.
Everyone comes here from the village, they you can see it's very nice.
It's beautiful. The sunset is just lovely here.
Yes. Also, here we do a specific thing, something that locals do.
Ah, okay. This isn't quite what I was expecting. What are we going to do with that?
Well, this is something that the local people use here whenever they come in this pit.
It's mud, it's clay.
Yeah, exactly.
Clay.
Well,
Okay, so what do we do? Where do we put it?
you take this one and you put it into your skin like this.
Oh, okay, and it's good for you.
Yeah, it's very good.
This clay comes from the cliffs around us, and the locals swear it's the best thing to draw toxins from the skin.
That's a good noise. Am I going to look 10 years younger after this?
Or 20 years younger.
I love you. I'm going to go for the face. I'm going to try a bit on the face.
Of course, it's very nice.
Let's get the blood running. Didn't really picture doing anything like this on my visits to Corfu.
But as you come, you have to.
You've got to. Do what
Yes.
the locals do. Embrace it.
I've seen a lot on this island that's been left by other cultures. But this is undeniably Corfiot.
The water is just so lovely, so warm. And obviously, after the old clay, look at me. I'm like 30 years younger, at least.
I'm really sad that my time's come to a close here on Corfu. It may be the least Greek of the Greek islands, but it's no less special for that.
Getting off the beaten track here in Corfu has been a real surprise. I wasn't expecting it to be so lush and so green. And the Corfiots aren't embarrassed by all the other cultures that have left their mark on the island.
In fact, they've embraced those influences and made them their own. And that's what makes Corfu so unique. Next time my journey takes me to glamorous Santorini, the supermodel of the Greek islands.
Impossibly scenic, gorgeous views.
I'll be on the hunt for the locals' tip for the top spot to see its famous sunset.
Oh, in the memory bank.
And escaping the crowds for a walk on its wild side.
This is definitely unspoiled, this island, isn't it? It's quite mad, really.
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
Every year, 3 million of us head to the Greek islands for our holidays. And it's easy to see why.
This is Greece, and look at that.
I have a strong affinity with the islands. My mum is Greek. But I've only holidayed here. I've never really explored beyond the tourist trail.
Oh, I think I'm full.
Until now. Every step of this journey has been a surprise. Wow! They say no one Greek island is like another, and so far, this trip is proving it. Look, there's nobody here.
Hello, everybody!
But now I'm nearing the end of my travels. And I'm going well and truly off the beaten track.
I am going native.
To the island, some say is Greece's best kept secret. This is a voyage of discovery, and I'm taking you with me.
This island holds a lot of promise for me. Chios is just 30 minutes from Turkey in that direction on a ferry. And like so many of the Greek islands, even though it's not particularly well known, its history is tumultuous and colourful.
It's an island of myth and mystery. Some people claim that Christopher Columbus was born here. Others speak of Chios as the birthplace of Homer. Whatever the truth, this rustic and rural island doesn't register on many tourist maps. And around 140 miles from mainland Greece, Chios is one of the most undiscovered and unspoiled of all the Greek islands.
It's a significant place for me because this is where my ancestors are from. And for this leg of my journey, I've got a very special travel companion.
Meet my Mama Moo, Chrissy Bradbury. Although her family name was Stephanakis. Chios is where her side of the family are from. I grew up hearing stories of this remote island far, far away. And now we're actually here.
We finally made it to Chios, Mama Moo.
We finally made it to Chios, Jones. And it's a huge adventure. But every time I come to Greece, it's an adventure.
It's strange being here because this island is a part of us. It's a part of our family.
Absolutely. We stopped here on the way from, I think it was Santorini.
So I was with you?
Yes. You were tiny. You were either tiny or non-existent.
That's why I have been here, maybe.
You have been, just for an hour or two. Not long. Not long.
And that's the only time you've been here?
The only time I've ever been. Yeah.
Gosh, what an adventure.
This island is such a big part of our lives, and yet we know so little about it. So we're going to explore it together. And we're starting with the product Chios is most famous for, mastika. Chios is called the mastic island, an ancient aromatic resin that is the engine of the island's economy. The world's only commercial producer of mastic, it's exported to over 50 countries, and it's used in everything, from food to medicine. Its story begins with an evergreen tree. Elias and Maria from the Mastic Growers Association have brought us to the only place in the world where the mastika tree flourishes.
As you see, mastika actually is the sap. It's the sap of the tree. And actually it's the reaction of the tree in order to avoid infections from insects, from fungus, from bacteria. So when we make the incisions, the tree automatically produces mastika in order to cover the wound.
So the sap comes out, and that's what's harvested.
Exactly. We don't use it actually. In Chios, it's not very common to use mastika because 85-90% of the annual production is being exported mainly for pharmaceutical production. So we treat it like diamonds. You don't keep it, you sell it.
This rare resin is known as the tears of Chios. And the microclimate of southern Chios, with its dry, barren soil, is just perfect for this tree.
So can I taste this?
Yes, but it's very soft and maybe you'll need a dentist after that.
I'll risk it. I'm going to have it there. I'm trying to describe the thing. It's a slightly minty flavour.
What is he throwing on the ground?
It is calcium carbonate, and we use it in order to keep mastika clean when it drops down to the surface of the tree.
How much mastika will you harvest off one tree, and how often can you harvest one tree?
The average quantity, let's say it's almost 150 to 200 grams.
But through the ages, the Chian growers choose very productive varieties.
Yes.
And this is the only varieties that now produces mastika. Otherwise, trees that you are able to find in the Mediterranean region produces only, let's say, 1 gram per year.
So that's such a difference. A mastica tree here in Chios producing 150, maybe 300 grams, and then 1 gram somewhere else in the world. So it's the magic of Chios as well,
exactly.
and how this plant has been cultivated over the years.
Exactly.
So you have the monopoliopolis on it.
The mastic tree has been grafted into the life of the islanders since ancient times. Today, some 4,500 people who live here are involved in its production. And most of them live in what are known as the mastic villages.
So apparently there are 24 mastic villages all over the island. All of those villages are reliant and thrive off the mastic trade.
Yes.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It is a lot.
As you walk through the streets, you feel as if you're in another time and place.
Listen how quiet it is.
Yeah,
Listen. Shh. Nothing. Oh, look how pretty this is. Look at that.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Life goes on the way it has for hundreds of years. Whilst the men toil in the mastic fields, the women work hard in the village, sorting it.
Και τώρα έχουμε 4 γενιές.
4 γενιές. Τα εγγόνια. Μπράβο.
Ναι, με water.
So we're sitting with the ladies cleaning the mastic, but what annoys me is that my mum always says the reason she didn't teach me Greek is that she doesn't speak Greek very well. And yet we sit down here with the lovely ladies, and her Greek is amazing.
I get by.
OK, you get by. I'd like to be able to get by. Oh, ευχαριστώ. At this stage, the mastica has been harvested from the trees, and as you can see, when it arrives into the village, it's got quite a lot of debris still.
During the winter time, ladies gather around on this square and they do this, talking and drinking and...
The most famous of the mastic villages is Pyrgi, where buildings are covered in black and white sgraffito, a centuries-old technique where geometric patterns are etched into concrete.
Now, I thought they were tiles.
Yes, it looks like tiles, but it's not.
It's painted in concrete.
It's plaster.
And the concrete from underneath. I like that.
The level of detail in the design was a sign of the wealth of the owner of the house. And mastic has certainly brought a lot of privilege and prosperity to the island over the years. No wonder they say it's like diamonds.
So we've seen the trees, the sap, the mastica ladies. Now let's go and see what they turn it all into.
Apparently, mastic has over 150 different uses.
Do you? Kalimera.
Thought to be the world's first chewing gum, it's long been a culinary staple in Turkey and the Middle East. And it's commonly used in beauty care and cosmetics. Marilena is going to show us the many faces of mastic.
Okay, face creams.
Yes, okay, we all love a good face cream. Of course. I'm loving that whitening and anti-wrinkle super sheet mask. I'm taking one of those.
It's really hydrating.
Yeah, that's lovely. Spicy garlic spread. Oh, doggy chocolate.
Doggy.
It's just dark chocolate.
I mean, I can see pasta over there and toothpaste over there.
There are the traditional mastica products.
Yes.
You know, there are the candies, the spoon
in the glass.
Yes. We call it submarine because you take like a spoon of that, you put it in a glass, and you add some water.
The submarine is a classic Greek dessert, so called because it's submerged in the water.
Wow, OK. Mum, you try it, because this is what you used to do, yes, when you were little. So this was the equivalent of a lollipop.
Yes, but it was like the traditional dessert when someone arrived at your home and you would like to treat him something you haven't baked.
God forbid that anybody should arrive in your house in Greece and you don't offer them something. That's
unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
It is.
Unacceptable, yes.
Yes.
It's taken me back to my childhood, sitting in funny old parlours with all these Greek women sitting around and...
That's lovely.
Yeah. Chewy.
OK, this is going to sound wrong, but imagine if you could eat toothpaste, but lovely, minty, herby sort of toothpaste. It's really nice.
It is.
And good for you.
The submarine isn't the only tradition we're going to sink our teeth into. The medieval town of Mesta beckons, and we'll need to get our dancing shoes on.
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
I've reached the final destination of my Greek odyssey. The little-known island of Chios. Home to my ancestral past. My mum and I have travelled to the south of the island, to the Mastic region, for a glimpse of the real Greece. Chios is one of the few Greek islands that's been untouched by mass tourism. So this island's culture and traditions are as pure and as unchanged as it gets. And I've been told that if I want to find the true Chios, the medieval village of Mesta is the place to head for. Local hotelier Anna has offered to show us around town.
Why is Mesta famous? Because it's not just for its beauty.
It's a castle village, close from outside, no cars, like it was 100 years ago.
Built to protect itself from foreign invaders and pirate attacks, Mestre, with its impenetrable stone walls and maze of cobbled streets, feels suspended in time.
So it's lovely and cool, Anna, in these passages, isn't it?
Look through this.
I know the
5 degrees different from outside.
Ah, so it's 5 degrees cooler.
Yes.
How many people live here now?
In winter, less than 300.
That's tiny.
Yeah, but in summer we are plenty.
So who lives here still?
Mostly old people.
The old yayas and
Yayas and papus. Yeah.
Greece is among the top countries in terms of life expectancy, perhaps due to the Mediterranean diet and the warm, sunny climate. My yaya is 102. The neighbouring island of Ikaria is one of the 5 designated places in the world where people live the longest. A blue zone. Marianthe is 92 and still going strong.
Marianthe is going to sing us a song about mastika.
Δεν θέλω να δουλεύεις στο σκηνό να κεντά.
A lot of Greek women, like Marianthe, dress in black. It's a custom here for widows in mourning to wear black, not just for one day, but often for the rest of their lives.
Κι εγώ θα σε πληρώνω βρε μικρούλα μου το κάθε Σαββατό.
Bravo! 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 Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Tell me about the song. What did you understand?
That she doesn't want her daughter to work in the mastica fields because it's too hard.
Can you ask Marianthe how often do the ladies meet?
Every day. Every day. Καθημερινά.
The people of Mestre, young and old, regularly get together to sing and dance. Nothing has a more powerful presence in Greek culture than traditional dance, especially on the islands. Dance is an expression of their cultural identity, and it's passed down from generation to generation. There are more than 10,000 traditional dances around the country, and every island has its own variation.
Oh gosh, no. It's going to be too hard.
We've been invited to join in one of the most popular dances of the island, the Skiathos.
Hey, go, Mama. Oh, thank you. Oh, what do I do?
Now it's time for me and my 2 left feet to have a go. The dancers link hands to form a chain or a circle, headed by a leader who I'm trying to follow. It's not as easy as it looks.
Oh, look at that, beautiful. Oh, I've lost it again.
Traditional dancing has always been my Achilles heel. Get it?
Now I feel Greek. How are you feeling, Mama? Oh, this is complicated. It's like dancing with a sheep. I don't think I'm a natural. Tell you what, you need to be fit to do this Greek dancing thing. Oh, I'm out of breath. How are you doing, Mama Moo?
Well, I'm fine, but he wants to do another energetic dance with me, and I can't do it. I'll have a heart attack.
Let's not kill her. Oh, ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Now I'm feeling connected with the culture of Chios. There's one last place we have to explore. We're heading north to the town of Rhodes. It's also known as Homeropolis because the legendary Greek writer Homer was believed to have been born here. The writer of the Odyssey, Old Homer, is one of the most famous poets in the world. And there's a solitary rock perched above Rhodes beach where he supposedly sat and composed his work. It's been dubbed Homer's seat.
We're here.
We're here.
Oh, look, right amongst the pines. How lovely.
I tell you what, why don't we 2 little seats.
There you go. How's that, comfy?
I'm slipping right down.
Is that... Do you need to come up? Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. There we go.
Oh. Now, you've heard of a Greek tragedy. Greek comedy, anyone?
How old was Homer? Right.
Now, wait a minute.
Get your feet in position.
Get my feet in position.
I know, it's very slippery as well. Watch out. Get yourself in. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hop, 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 hop. Oh, gosh. There's a way to sit. You put a foot there.
Oh, another foot there.
Another foot here. I don't think you wear... He probably did wear a skirt, and he probably did wear sandals like this. And he would sit here.
Lecturing.
Well, I don't know, communicating.
Yes.
His words of love and wisdom about pride, and... It's incredible, isn't it? It's so beautiful.
It is.
I never got to the end of Homer's Odyssey, but I've nearly reached the end of mine. Our final stop is a personal one.
We're here in Vrondaros. This is where...
It all began.
It all began. So, Anthony and...
Arietta.
Anthony and Arietta, my mother's grandparents, my great-grandparents, were born and raised here in the late 19th century. Anthony was a sailor and he married Arietta in Vrondaris in 1910. A year before they fled the Turkish occupation and emigrated to South Wales, where my mother was born 26 years later. Records state that when the couple married, they were gifted a house and a farm in a place called Mesovouni, somewhere here in Vrondaros.
So from the pictures you've seen, this is it?
Yes.
It's a hefty old chunk of property, Mama. Look at the size of it. It's huge. It's definitely a fixer-upper, isn't it?
Definitely a fixer-upper.
So as far as we know, this house was left to your grandmother. And look, this is you. Look at your chubby little feet.
I was a chubby, happy baby.
She looks happy, yeah.
She was lovely.
So what do you think of the house?
Well, I've got a vivid imagination, and I can see what it was like, because it's a very beautiful house, you know, a very large house in those days.
Well, it hasn't been lived in for a very, very long time, has it?
Very long time.
Look at it from here.
Imagine living in that. Wonderful.
On my travels, I've been trying to learn a bit of Greek to try and impress my mum. And I think now is the moment.
Mama μου, ευχαριστώ για τις ελληνικά καταγωγή μου. Είμαι περήφανη για τις ρίζες μας. Τα ελληνικά είναι μια δύσκολη γλώσσα.
Πολύ δύσκολη γλώσσα και εγώ δεν το θυμάμαι καλά, αλλά σ' αγαπώ.
Σ' αγαπώ.
Σ' αγαπώ. She said, I love you. He cried. Thank you, Yaya. Thank you, Papu.
I'm feeling much more Greek. It's been a lovely adventure, hasn't it?
It's been a great adventure.
Finding my ancestral home is a fitting finale to my Greek voyage. I've learnt so much about the islands, their culture, their history, and my own. Addio, Greek islands. Ta ξαναγυρίσω. And before I do, I think I better book myself some Greek lessons.
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
Every year, 3 million of us head to the Greek islands for our holidays. And it's easy to see why.
This is Greece, and look at that.
I have a strong affinity with the islands. My mum is Greek. But I've only holidayed here.
Here we go.
Until now. So I'm going to explore their hidden side.
Look, there's nobody here.
Hello, everybody!
Oh, you're good.
From their breathtaking natural wonders.
Let me show you our real mother.
To the colourful customs and the architectural splendour.
That is a miracle of loveliness.
It makes me proud to be just that little bit Greek. This is a voyage of discovery, and I'm taking you with me. Rhodes, or Rhodos, as the Greeks call it, is often referred to as the island of the sun, because it's said that Helios, the Greek god of the sun, chose this place to be his home. And it's sunny here for 8 months of the year, so it's easy to see why. My journey has brought me to the Documentaries, meaning 12. It's named after the 12 main islands which make up this far-flung archipelago. Located just 11 miles from the coast of Turkey, over 200 miles from mainland Greece, at the crossroads of Europe and the Orient, these islands are packed with history and culture. I'll be hopping to the lesser-known Symi, but first I'm starting here on the largest of the Documentaries, in search of the real Rhodos. It's dripping in historical treasures, from crusader castles to frescoed churches. Just look at it. The oldest inhabited medieval city in the world. A stroll through its maze of alleyways reveals ancient reminders of its rich past. But it isn't a museum frozen in time.
Look at this, somebody lives here, and you can't do this at home all year round, obviously, because you haven't got the weather. But here you can just leave your laundry out. It smells so good, it's just so fresh and lovely.
I bet it wasn't nearly as fragrant when crusaders occupied Rhodos in the 14th century.
Kalimera.
Who were an order of the Christian knights from across Europe. Their stronghold was the palace of the Grand Master. I know, quite a name, isn't it? But unlike the rest of the neighbourhood, this fairy tale castle isn't nearly as old as you might think.
In 1856, it was devastated by an explosion. A lightning bolt struck the powder store, and the place was levelled. 800 people lost their lives. By then, it was in the hands of the Turks, so maybe Zeus played a role. He was partial to a bit of lightning.
During the Italian occupation in World War II, it was painstakingly rebuilt by Mussolini. But I'm leaving the tourist trail in search of another of the island's cultural delights. I'm meeting the local artist Yorgos.
Thank you.
At the little-known ruined church of St. John the Baptist.
Oh, it's nice and cool in here. And stunning! Gosh, look at these wonderful ceilings.
In here you can catch a glimpse of a treasure trove of religious art, created when Rhodos was ruled from the east by the Byzantine Empire, in what's now modern-day Turkey.
What are we looking at?
We can see the whole Trinity. The whole Trinity in the Christian painting was painting with 3 angels, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
How old is this, Yorgo?
This composition was painted on 16th century.
Gosh,
almost.
500 years. And it's still here, it survived. It's amazing to find a little gem like this tucked away down a quiet side street. Yorgos is one of the few left in Greece who knows the secrets of the medieval art of fresco painting, and he runs classes teaching visitors.
Into the gallery.
I'm his next pupil.
So what are we going to do in here now?
We're going to make a fresco. Adam, in paradise, going to make only this part.
After learning to paint wooden icons in an Orthodox monastery, Yorgos studied frescoes in Italy, and since then, he's worked in churches all over Rhodos.
Fill it? Just completely fill it?
Yeah, fill it.
The technique we're using today dates back as far as the Bronze Age. Pigments made from natural minerals are mixed with water and painted directly onto wet plaster.
Is this painful, you watching me do this to your...
No, I like it because you do it very well.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. It's so lovely to watch. Look how straight he holds his fingers. Nice.
Travelling along ancient trade routes, these colours are the exact colours that Byzantine artists used centuries ago.
You want to make the leaves?
Mm-hmm. Such a lovely colour.
I'm not sure what they'd make of my efforts.
Oh, don't know what that is. That's like a random pomegranate morphed strawberry. One over Adam's head. Little temptation. The fruit hanging and all that jazz. Go on, Adam, take a bite, take a bite. But there we go.
Okay, well done.
Da, da, da. It is the icon of Adam as painted by Julia and Yorgo. Thank you, Yorgo. That's lovely. That was such an enjoyable experience. I can see why you like doing this. It's a nice way to spend your life.
Around every corner are clues to the island's position on the historic trade route to the east. But I'm heading to the steep pine forests of the interior on the hunt for an exotic delicacy that Rhodes is famous for.
I'm going to meet some ladies now who are going to teach me all about an ancient Greek superfood. It's a rich, opulent, sweet and sticky treat. Yum.
I've travelled 27 miles inland to the village of Apollona, where an unusual group of entrepreneurs is making melekouni, a unique Rhodian snack of honey and sesame seeds.
Hello, Katerina. Hello, lovely to see you. So, ladies, I'm so excited to meet you because my little boy, Zephyrus, when he was in my tummy, I used to call him a sesame seed. So, we have all my favourite things here.
What I really love is they're all related. Mums and daughters, aunts and cousins, making what you could call an ancient Greek energy bar.
You will find melekouni in the whole island.
Yes.
But our melekouni, I think it's the best.
Of course. I'd like to help you, so can I do something with
Yes, you may help us make melekounis.
Fantastic. Okay. Oh, I can see the sesames.
Okay.
Spiced with aromatic cinnamon and nutmeg, traders brought sesame from India in the 1st century BC.
Okay.
So now we're going to put the honey in the sesame.
Okay, can I do that?
Yes.
Okay, anywhere?
Just, yes, and stir it.
Right, okay. Start a little bit at a time. The smells.
Traditionally given to newlyweds, the seeds represent the years of marriage.
Oh, you're good.
Hey.
Local honey from the island's pine forests give melekouni its unique flavour and apparently keeps the marriage sweet. There's another big selling point too.
Hi, Vasilia.
Hi.
Oh, look.
This
I've
is
been anointed.
This is a tradition we do.
Okay.
In when we make melekouni in houses, the old time.
I've been honeyed.
A week before the wedding, we make melekouni.
Yes.
And everybody gets stuck with the honey. So we have a nice face at the wedding.
Because it's very good for you, the honey, isn't it? Very good for the skin and the complexion.
Maybe that's the secret to all those happy marriages.
Yeah.
And
so it's like
put
pastry
it
making
together,
now.
yes. Like that.
Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good. It smells so good. So what are we doing? Just flattening it?
Yes.
Making 1,000 melekouni a day, skills passed on for centuries, are giving financial independence to the latest generation of the village's women.
So it's the melekouni moment of truth.
Yes. It's still warm.
Oh, lovely. You can hear the honeybees.
That's right.
Oh. Πολύ ωραίο. I don't want to spoil that now, so I'm going to taste this a little bit here. Here, look, I smell.
Now I can see why this stuff has been around for so long.
Oh, it's so delicious. It's low calorie, yeah?
Yeah, it's just honey and sesame.
Yeah, it's just honey and nuts. Not fattening at all.
Ah, what's a few calories between friends? Next, I'm off to Symi, to a tiny island with a big history and a style all of its own.
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
I've come to the Documentaries, a remote group of Aegean islands closer to Turkey than the Greek mainland. After exploring Rhodes' rich cultural history as the gateway to the Middle East, I'm heading 41 kilometres away to neighbouring Symi. And it's like nowhere else in Greece.
I mean, really. Have you ever seen anywhere so beautiful? It reminds me of Portofino in Italy, but it's quite unique. It's like ferrying into some sort of opera set.
The island was named after a nymph who stole the heart of Poseidon, god of the sea. Just 7 miles by 5, its rocky interior is largely uninhabited. And maybe more than any of the Documentaries, Symi was shaped by its relationship with the ocean. Hidden among steep, winding streets away from the tourist haunts of the harbour, I've been told there's another less mythical sea creature I have to try. Symi shrimp. Simply fried in olive oil, these tiny crustaceans aren't found anywhere else in the world.
Oh, it's lovely. Oh, yeah. The whole thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Like chips.
Like chips. Okay. Shrimp chips. They are supremely sweet. Yummy.
Symi might be famous for its shrimp, but the grand neoclassical mansions, which make it so different from the rest of Greece, also owe their existence to the rich waters around the island. Author Yannis is an expert in a unique chapter in Symi's history.
You must be Yannis.
Hello, Julia.
Hello.
Nice
Great
to
to
meet
meet you. How are you?
Welcome to
Lovely
Symi.
Oh, and what a delight when you step off the ferry and you see this for the first time.
It's beautiful.
It's breathtaking.
Yep.
Why does Symi look like this?
Symi and the islands around here had the spunk diving fleet, and that was going on for thousands of years. So they really became very, very wealthy.
By the 19th century, sponges were used for everything, from taking a bath to padding soldiers' helmets. Growing in abundance under the sea here, tiny Symi became the centre of a huge global trade. One that relied on a unique skill learnt over centuries.
Why were the people of Symi so good at freediving?
The fathers and grandfathers taught it to their children and grandchildren to make an income for themselves. And of course, they loved the sea because it wasn't an easy life.
No, it sounds very romantic and it sounds very adventurous,
very hard.
But very hard, a
Very
really
hard.
tough existence.
A world-renowned expert in the modern discipline of freediving, Yannis has arranged for me to see how hard it is for myself.
Kalimera! Hoppa! There we go. How are you? Good. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Ulysses? Hello, hello.
Vasilis and his son Ulysses are giving me a crash course in how it was done here long before it became a competitive sport.
How deep will we go?
How long you want?
How deep will you go?
Not very. It's about 11, 12 meters.
Okay. Seems quite deep to me, but anyway.
Today, tourism is Symi's main industry, and the lucrative sponge trade, along with the huge wealth it brought with it, are just a memory.
We know, sadly, the sponges are gone now.
Yes. Since 1960s, that was the last season for the sponge divers. since then we don't earn money from sponges. It's a long history. In 1863 came in Symi the first scuba diving suit.
And this was the suit with the big helmet.
Yeah.
The
This
big
one.
goldfish bowl
This one.
helmet.
This one. It was a disaster. But also the problem was that the scuba divers vacuum the depth. They clean, they take all of them. All of them.
They overfished the sponges. They wiped out
Exactly.
all of them.
Exactly.
Until then, the number of sponges collected was limited by how long a diver could hold his breath, armed only with a very basic bit of kit to help them reach the seabed.
So, gentlemen, I'm in your hands. What happens first?
Yep, you can see how the old fishermen free-dived with the stone, with the marble.
Oh, this next to you.
This one.
How heavy is that?
This is about 10 kilos. You keep it, first of all, as a weight, and second, as a steering system. You keep the stone like this.
Like a laptop?
Yes, and you walk.
Start walking.
And you walk. It's very funny. Let's go.
Let's get in the water,
Let's
gents. Look at this father and son. He's 15, Ulysses is 15, my little boy is 8. God, I'd love him to experience this kind of life.
It's hard to imagine going for a leisurely stroll 12 metres underwater, but I've been told the trick is to breathe deeply, empty your mind, and stay calm.
Watching Vasilis is fascinating because he's taking these deep breaths now. Look, he's perched on the back of the boat, he's breathing in, he's really focused, he's got the stone in front of him. It's a real moment.
This would be considered a shallow dive, but oxygen leaves the blood fastest in the first 10 metres, so blacking out is still a very real risk.
"30 seconds already."
One of the world's most primitive animals, there are over 6,000 types of sponge. Before overfishing, the rocky seabed and crystal clear water here was the perfect habitat for Symi's native species.
Nearly a minute down there. And I think he definitely got to the bottom of the seabed. He's back in the boat. My turn, okay.
It takes years of practice to walk on the seabed like Vasilis, so I'm just going to try and touch the bottom.
Oh, hello. What's this?
What is it?
Yeah, look at that. I've never had my sleeve blown up before.
I'm smiling, but the nerves are starting to kick in.
So before I get in the boat, what's it like down there? How was that?
Always fantastic.
Yes?
You will see.
I will see. I will see if I'll see. How far down do you think I'll get?
It's free diving, so don't care about depth. Ready?
Yep, ready.
Steady.
Steady.
I've done a bit of diving and snorkeling before, but I've never tried anything like this.
What is the aim for me here today now? What is going to make this different to me when I sort of try to get down to the bottom of the seabed in a shallow bit of water when I'm on holiday?
It's like you return in your mother.
To the womb?
Yes.
Back to the womb.
She is our mother.
Okay.
But the feeling is strong.
Okay.
There's no going back now. But I have Yanis in the water with me, just in case anything goes wrong. It really isn't as easy as Vasilis makes it look.
couldn't get down. My ears were going...
But I'm not ready to give up.
So there's a black sponge down there. I need to keep breathing, get myself calm and try just to pop down to it.
I can't believe I did it.
So I made it to the black sponge. I touched it. My ears are popping like crazy.
Yeah.
But it is beautiful.
My time in the Dodecanese is coming to an end. But the places I've seen and the people I've met will leave me with memories as rich as the history of these incredible islands. That moment as you come up, because the buoyancy is just like whooshing you through the water, and you see the light above you, and it's just magic, that feeling when you go poof, and you just explode on the surface. Oh, but that was a special experience. Symi's a pretty special place. Next time, the final leg of my Greek odyssey takes me to Chios, the island where my own story began.
It's strange being here because this island is a part of us. It's a part of our family.
Absolutely.
I'll be taking my mum on an emotional journey into our past.
So what do you think of the house?
Unearthing magical customs and colourful traditions, unchanged for generations.
Oh, here he goes!
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
Every year, 3 million of us head to the Greek islands for our holidays. And it's easy to see why.
This is Greece, and look at that.
I have a strong affinity with the islands. My mum is Greek. But I've only holidayed here.
Here we go.
Until now. I'm going to see the hidden side.
Look, there's nobody here.
Hello, everybody!
Oh, you're good.
From their breathtaking natural wonders.
Let me show you our real mother.
To the colourful customs and the architectural splendour.
That is a miracle of loveliness.
It makes me proud to be just that little bit Greek. This is a voyage of discovery, and I'm taking you with me.
I've reached the sporades, the scattered ones. Along my travels, I've heard lots of folklore stories about kings, queens and gods who fight and then end up chucking huge bits of land at one another, which end in the creation of a new place. The sporades are one such archipelago. Legend has it that 2 Greek titans had a Barney, got into a slinging match, and this was born. Ironic that out of such a violent encounter, somewhere so peaceful was created.
Known as the Paradise Islands, the Sporades are famed for their lush pine forests and exotic beaches. Located a few miles off the east coast of mainland Greece, the Sporades are a cluster of 24 islands that stretch out into the Aegean Sea. And I'm going to be exploring 2 of those 4 inhabited islands. I'll visit Scopelos, a sleepy little place whose charms are largely undiscovered by tourists, despite it being the backdrop for the movie Mamma Mia. But I'm starting on the island of Skiathos. With an international airport, it's the most popular island in the Sporades, which may have something to do with the 60 beaches strung along its 45 kilometres of coastline. But I want to discover the Skiathos only the locals know. And I think the best way to do that is on a boat. That little boat there, that's what I'm going on today. And those boys are going to show me the secret Skiathos. They're called Yannis and Kostas. They're all called Yannis and Kostas. Kalimera!
Kalimera! Kalimera, Julia. Welcome to Skiathos.
Thank you. Yannis or Kostas?
Yannis.
Hello, Yannis. How are you?
Yeah, fine, you?
Good, thank
Kalimera,
you.
Julia.
Good morning,
Welcome,
Kalimera.
welcome.
Hi, Kostas. What a gorgeous boat.
This is our boat. The boat is the last boat made in Skiathos. It's traditional Greek fishing boat style. We're going to show you Skiathos, our Skiathos, and we try to make it very nice so you have amazing day and good memories. Julia, are you ready?
I'm
Let's
ready. We're leaving from Koukonaris beach.
Let's go, Kostas, πάμε!
And with its pine-fringed swathe of golden sand, you'd be hard-pushed to find a lovelier beach in the whole of Greece. But in a few hours, it'll be full of sun-seekers. And I want to find the hidden paradise beaches of Skiathos. Already, I feel like I'm escaping the rat race.
This is my laptop.
It's better than a laptop. One of Skiathos' main incomes historically was fishing. But as fish stocks dwindle in the Mediterranean, so do the livelihoods of Greek fishermen like Yannis and Kostas.
Little baby one, so
okay.
We thrown back these ones.
Bye-bye. To supplement their incomes, they've diversified, and they offer guided tours of the island's coastline for around €70 a day. But these boys are fishermen first and foremost. It's in their DNA. You're doing what your grandfather did and your father before you. You're a family of fishermen.
Yeah, fishermen generations. And now in Skiathos, we are one of the last ones.
How many do you think are left?
5, 6.
That's it?
Maybe, yeah. It's scary, but let's go with this now.
How long do you think you can carry on doing this then, the way things are?
The bad days, they are more than the good days in the sea. But we never know, because the sea is full of surprises. You have to think positive, and positive things happen to you. You know?
Hallelujah to that.
The Mamma Mia boat.
Oh, hello, there we go. This area is famous because of a film, Mamma Mia. So there's quite a lot of this going on. I can't hear whether it's ABBA that they're dancing to, but take a look at that cruise.
It can be the worst day in your life. There.
He's not a fan. Hollywood invaded the Sporades back in 2007. Ever since, Mamma Mia fans have been coming in their droves. But unlike a lot of tourist operators in Skiathos, the brothers don't trade on Mamma Mia. They refuse to. Instead, they trade on the beauty of their island and its hidden bays. Look at this beautiful cove. I mean, it's paradise, and there's nobody here. This is the kind of place you can come and discover in Skiathos. And hiding in these coves are a Greek delicacy, sea urchins, known as akinou in Greece. So sea urchins are the black spiky things that you see that you don't ever want to step on. They're down here in the seaweed.
Yeah, they are around the rocks, and there are females and males, so I show you which ones you pick them up. The males are completely black. The females, they have a color, a little bit purple, a little bit for red. Because it's female, it's like the circle of the woman, so every month it's full of caviar, double, you know.
Isn't that extraordinary?
2 days before the full moon, 2 days after the full moon, after they start being more relaxing. You
know when they say inviting waters, this is what they're talking about. Yannis fishes for sea urchins in the traditional way, using a sharp knife to help him pry them from their resting place in the shallow waters.
Oh my God, it's so crystal clear, it's beautiful.
Sea urchins are most commonly found in rocky coves like this and have small tube feet that allow them to cling to the rocks. And only licensed fishermen like Yannis can harvest them during certain months of the year.
Akinou!
If a sea urchin is bejewelled with a piece of seaweed or a shell or a rock, it means they're alive and therefore edible.
So we have some sea urchins here. Female, male.
They are such gorgeous creatures, aren't they? With our lunch secured, Yanis wants to let me in on a local secret. Segurias Beach. A short boat ride from Koukenaris, it couldn't be more different. This is real Robinson Crusoe stuff.
This is my favorite beach because it's completely quiet, so not many people visit the beach. Only little boats, locals.
So all the tourists are around the corner, and here, nobody. Have you ever left Skiathos?
Yes, I used to live in Copenhagen, in Denmark, for a couple of years.
I can't picture you in Copenhagen. I can't picture you anywhere else other than here.
It's important to know who you are and where you come from. You know? Look my nose.
Look my nose. It's a big thing. All that remains is lunch and a Greek fisherman's feast. Yanis is cooking up some mullet he caught first thing this morning.
This is a little floating restaurant.
Yes, it is a floating...
And you eat in the paradise.
Paradise. Paradiso. Delicately done. Fresh fried fish, Greek salad and sea urchin. Look at this. What a spread. How utterly delicious and amazing does it look? You eat the sea urchin raw, kind of like an oyster.
Nice.
Actually not that fishy.
Try the fish.
Oh, wow.
Bon appetit.
Oh, thank you. Ευχαριστώ.
Heaven on a plate. Although it's a Greek tragedy that fish stocks have crashed because of pollution and overfishing, Skiathos' coastline has absolutely lived up to its reputation as the paradise island. But it's not just the coast. I've heard hidden away in the hills is one of the most idyllic places on the island. The ultimate place to seek peace is a monastery, and Greece has lots of them. In fact, this is one of the most religious places in Europe. There are 10,000 churches and monasteries in Greece and over 50 in Skiathos alone. But there's one here that's got real significance. I've always known from family stories that the struggle for independence from the Ottoman Empire was a key moment in Greek history. When it finally happened in 1821, it was here, in the monastery of Evangelistra, that the country's blue and white flag was raised for the very first time. Father Joseph, hello.
Hello, Miss Julia.
Lovely to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you in such a beautiful place. Although off the beaten track, the monks sustain their livelihood by selling their homemade produce and liqueurs. Can you show me some of the monastery?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. The centrepiece of the monastery is this tranquil chapel. Locals and visitors come here to pray and take a moment. Everywhere around you, wherever you look, it's very ornate. And look at the light coming through that window. Look at that. It's quite magical, isn't it? People visit the chapel to make offerings to the Virgin Mary. And there she is. These rectangular pieces of metal are called damata. They sell them in shops all over Greece.
When you have a problem, come here and you put...
The images of the damata symbolise what you're meant to be praying for. What does this mean, the eyes?
The eyes. We have problem with the eyes.
Oh, with vision, with sight.
A lot of babies.
A lot of babies. This one?
Married.
Married. They want to get married. I know a few people who might have put a few of those in there.
And we have a lot of ευχαριστώ.
Ah, ευχαριστώ. In Greek, ευχαριστώ means thank you. Well, Father Joseph, ευχαριστώ. Thank you to you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very special experience. When you leave a damata, you first light a candle. Then you make your offering to the Virgin Mary. And mine simply says, thank you. Doesn't matter what religion you are, you should always be grateful. And being here, I've a lot to be grateful for. Next, I'm off to Scopelos, known as the Mamma Mia Island.
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
I'm exploring the Sporades, a peaceful archipelago of 24 islands located to the east of mainland Greece. I'm leaving behind the paradise beaches of Skiathos and heading to its bigger sister, Scopelos. Despite being the main location for the movie Mamma Mia, not that many tourists make the trip over from Skiathos. I've heard that it's sleepier and more laid back than its glitzier neighbour, so hopefully the perfect place to discover a slice of real, authentic Greek life. Scopelos doesn't have an airport, so you can only get there by boat. And my ferries drop me off in Scopelos town. I'm here to meet a man called Bill.
You must be Bill.
I am.
Because it says so on your T-shirt.
Bill is actually Greek, and he runs a water taxi around Scopelos.
So, you're Greek, but your name's Bill.
I know, Bill,
and you sound English.
I can sound Greek if you like me to. My Greek name is Willielmos. What can I say?
Willielmos.
Willielmos.
So I've jumped over here from Skiathos. What's the main difference between Skiathos and Scopelos?
People do things outside tourism, very traditional things that are still ingrained in the culture.
Bill is going to introduce me to one of those traditional things ingrained in the culture, the Greek wedding.
In here?
Yep, in here.
He's taking me to meet a local lady called Katerina, who's going to fit me out in a traditional Scopelos wedding dress.
So why is this so important to Scopelos, this dress, this tradition?
Να σας πω, η φορεσιά Σκοπέλων είναι από τις σπουδαιότερες της Ελλάδος. Έχει πάρει και το πρώτο βραβείο. Είναι μοναδική φορεσιά που έχει πολλά φουντώματα. Φοραγούνται 7 φουστάνια από μέσα από την φορεσιά.
And this is what prompted them to come and film Mamma Mia and Scopelos.
Και ήμουν και εγώ μαζί τους και έρεψα φουστάνια της Meryl Streep.
I heard Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, she was part of the team that made the dresses for the film.
So she's touched Meryl.
She has.
Yes.
Έχει ακουμπήσει, λέει, τη Meryl Streep.
Wow. Love it. Let's try it on.
Now, I'm not a lady adverse to dressing up from time to time.
Can't wait to put 7 layers on in this heat.
But I have to admit, dressing as a Greek bride, this is a first.
So far, it doesn't feel very sexy as far as wedding frocks go.
Everything is handmade, and it belonged to Katerina's grandmother, her yaya. It's over 130 years old.
Look at that, that's very beautiful. Another layer, and this one's black. This is layer number 6. I'm feeling more Greek by the minute.
Μπράβο, Τζούλια. Τώρα είσαι έτοιμη, Τζούλια.
Katerina. Thank you.
Παρακαλώ, Τζούλια.
I feel very Greek and very hot.
Beautiful.
Apparently, the amount of detail and embroidery on a wedding dress reflected the social standing of the lady wearing it. I was very wealthy, darling. Some brides still get betrothed in all of this garb today. Remind me not to get married in Scopelos. Although my Mamma Moo would be very proud. I think one of the best ways to see the true side of a place is to get walking and explore on foot. No surprise there.
Well, I should be wearing my walking gear. I didn't anticipate all of this.
I'm heading to the north of the island, to the town of Glossa.
Yes.
And I'm just following my big fat Greek nose. Life moves at a different pace here, even by Greek island standards.
Hello, my friend, how are you?
Unless you happen to come across a local celebration.
What's going on over there?
Hello, everybody!
Fiestas are 2 a penny in Greece, and I appear to have stumbled upon the annual Scopelos Wine Harvest Festival. The Greeks love a bit of grape crushing. When in Rome, or Glossa in this case.
I've got a very small head. There we go. What's this? What's this all about, Tom?
We're going to make mustalevria.
What's mustalevria?
Custard made from grape juice.
Oh, it is custardy. Shall I taste it?
You can add a few walnuts or almonds to it.
That's lovely. Really nice.
The idea seems to be that Tom loads up an old Hessian bag with black grapes, and a volunteer then enters the vat and crushes them with their bare feet.
I'm going in. Okay.
I can only say it's very squelchy.
It's a lovely sensation under your feet. Yes!
I'm a big fan of Greek wine, but this vintage is not looking quite so appealing, I must admit. I haven't had a chance to do any exercise today, so I feel like I'm on the treadmill. I'm on the grape mill. There we go. Just a 6-kilometre walk from Glossa is one of the most famous sites in Greece. And the only place I could end my Sporades island adventure. The beautiful chapel of Agios Yannis, St. John. We started with a legend, we're going to finish with a legend. The story goes that a fisherman came across this beautiful outcrop of rock and had some sort of apparition. When he came back the next day, there was a candle lit in exactly the same place. So he and the villagers decided that this must be a special place, and they built the church, right at the very top. You might well recognise this location. It was the setting for the final scene of Mamma Mia, and pilgrims of the movie come here to recreate Meryl Streep's rapid ascent to the chapel. There are over 100 steps to negotiate. At least you can stop and enjoy the views on the way. The thing that vexes me slightly, apart from the 106 steps, is that not only should the church not be known as the Mamma Mia Church, the whole film shouldn't be called Mamma Mia and set in Greece. It should be called Mamma Moo. That would be the literal Greek translation. Mamma Moo. Oh. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is just amazing and magical. This isn't Indonesia. This isn't Thailand. This isn't somewhere far, far, far away from us. This is Greece. And look at that. Oh, it makes me proud to be just that little bit Greek. Isn't it pretty? But if you've watched Mamma Mia, you'll know that they couldn't possibly have filmed the wedding sequence inside this church, because there are about 50 people in that scene, and you can fit about 6 people in here. And if you do want to get married in here, I'm afraid you need to be Greek Orthodox. And you need to wear one of those dresses. Probably. And an olive tree. Of course there's an olive tree up here. Why wouldn't there be? An olive tree with a bell. Probably not meant to do this, but... I made it! This chapel marks the end of my trip to the Paradise Islands. And I, for one, can definitely see why they call them that. They're wild, they're peaceful, and they're stunning. I've tried on a Greek wedding dress, I've visited an Orthodox chapel, but sadly for my Mamma Moo, there's no big fat Greek wedding yet. Maybe next year. Next time my journey takes me to the Dodecanese. It's dripping in historical treasures. Just look at it. Crossroads of the ancient world. I'll be uncovering the rich multicultural history of Rhodes. 500 years, and it's still here, it survived. And immersing myself in the architectural splendour of Symi. Have you ever seen anywhere so beautiful?
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
Every year, 3 million of us head to the Greek islands for our holidays. And it's easy to see why. This is Greece, and look at that. I have a strong affinity with the islands. My mum is Greek. But I've only holidayed here. Here we go. Until now. So I'm going to explore their hidden side. Look, there's nobody here.
Hello, everybody!
Oh, you're good.
From their breathtaking natural wonders...
Let me show you our real mother.
...to the colourful customs and the architectural splendour. That is a miracle of loveliness. It makes me proud to be just that little bit Greek. This is a voyage of discovery, and I'm taking you with me.
I haven't been to Santorini since I was 17, and since then it's changed unimaginably. It's become one of the most popular destinations in Europe and one of the most famous in the world, and this is why. The impossibly scenic, gorgeous views.
Every year, nearly 2 million people are lured to Santorini, not least for its spellbinding sunsets. But my tip, it's well worth setting the alarm early, at least once, so you can experience the total tranquility of a sunrise like this one. And then you have it all to yourself. Located southeast of mainland Greece, in the Aegean Sea, Santorini is the undisputed jewel in the crown of the Cyclades. Striking blue domed churches and whitewashed villages populate this 76 square kilometre island. But Santorini owes its seductive looks to one of the most catastrophic geological events in recorded history.
About 3,500 years ago, that volcano erupted and the centre of the island collapsed, and then the interior filled with the sea and created this, the caldera.
Believed by some to have inspired the legend of the lost city of Atlantis, one thing is certain. It left behind one of the most spectacular landscapes in all of Greece. Only 60 years ago, Santorini lacked even the most basic amenities. But now, with more than 50 five-star hotels and resorts, it's become a playground for the rich and famous. I'd better scrub up a bit. I'm meeting the woman who kick-started the transformation, opening Santorini's first luxury hotel in the 90s. Today, Kalia's still catering to its most discerning visitors here at her newest hideaway. And yes, she does look a bit like a Greek Sandra Bullock.
You know this island very well. Yeah. So Santorini has gone from from this. It's exploded, hasn't it, over the decades?
Back in the 90s, Santorini was a very simple, not well-known island. It was more a place for bed and breakfast, for camping. If you would then say Santorini is a luxury destination, everybody would think, are you crazy? Who would go there for luxury? Local people never expected, from no electricity in the 70s to this kind of, amazing, wow destination that Santorini became today.
Once the rustic retreat of an eccentric widow with connections to the Greek royal family and a passion for horses, these days her stables are luxurious suites and the hotel has one of the most Instagrammable pools I've ever seen.
Santorini has become so popular because of its natural beauty.
The Santorini selfie.
Exactly, the Santorini selfie.
And do you think there is still a hidden, unexplored Santorini?
Oh my God, absolutely. If you stay here for a week, I will take you to places that you never thought they exist. Almost the 2/3 of Santorini are unexplored.
All in good time, but there's no way I'm passing up the opportunity to take a dip in that pool. With as many as 18,000 tourists descending on the island some days, it's hard to imagine finding peace and quiet away from the crowds jostling for the best view. But it's the hidden Santorini I'm after, so I'm back in my hiking boots and on its trail.
I don't think when you mention the island of Santorini to people that the first thing that pops into their head is walking and hiking.
Well, neither was I thinking about walking in Santorini before I actually moved here.
My guide is fellow walking fan Nico, who first fell in love with the island 20 years ago and probably knows how to get off the beaten track here better than anyone.
During the first season, I actually got overwhelmed with tourism and I started walking the paths, realizing that nobody is walking on them anymore. So it was very satisfying to discover that there's about 65 to 70 kilometers of paths all over the island.
Nice.
Around landscape like this, where it's so quiet.
It is nice to be able to escape like this.
Yes.
And to share all of this beauty with people.
Today we're following an ancient track linking villages which still bear the sign of a time when the island was ruled by Italy.
Let's have a little look behind us. Oh. So what's that village called?
This is Eborio.
Eborio.
Meaning commerce, one of the biggest villages of the island. Built around one of the 5 castles the Venetians built in the 12 and 1300s.
So you don't think of castles when you think of Santorini. You've got 5 of them.
5 of them. This is
quite
actually...
greedy.
It's not us, it's the Venetians.
Oh, there we go.
Up here, it's easy to see Santorini's spectacular coastline isn't the only legacy of that explosive chapter in its history. The rich volcanic soil makes this a forager's paradise.
Fig trees.
Just, you know, the random fig tree on your walking path.
Capers growing wild everywhere.
Capers.
One of the hardest plants to cultivate,
You
by the way.
don't get this in the Lake District or in the Yorkshire Dales or in the Peaks. Fantastic.
Winding through a landscape of vineyards, every bend of the path reveals more of the island's unexpected edible delights.
What's this?
Well, it's a weed, essentially, so you can cut some if you'd like and just rub it.
What is it?
That's wild fennel, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that is a really zingy aniseed smell. It goes right up the nostrils, especially when your nostrils are as big as mine. Lovely.
It hasn't escaped my attention that we're heading ever upwards on our hike. In fact, our destination is the highest point in Santorini and the former capital, Pyrgo. A labyrinth of traditional houses built around one of those fortresses left behind by the Venetians.
The alleyways were designed to be deliberately misleading and confusing, though, weren't they?
Yes, to confuse the pirates who were trying to find the only entrance of the castle.
Certainly worked. It confuses me.
Nico is promising me we'll be rewarded for our efforts. We're in search of a secret sunset spot.
This is it.
There is no way I'd be able to track this down without him.
Is that not our viewing platform there for the sunset?
No, not quite yet.
It's pretty lovely.
Got something more special for you, though. And to your right. Let's turn left here.
Okay.
In here.
Oh, good Lord. In through the door?
Up the steps.
Oh, up the steps. It's a proper magical mystery tour, this. Oh. Now this is a special spot.
Paracalo.
Oh, thank you.
Haramu, my pleasure.
That is a miracle of loveliness. Now, where would most people go for the sunsets in Santorini?
I would think, yeah, the northwesternmost tip, the most famous spot for watching the sunset.
But not as special as this spot. See, I bring you to all the best places. Well, Nico does. In the memory bank, the blue dome, the 2 crosses, the sun setting over the sea. I'll remember this.
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
I'm on Santorini, known today as the supermodel of the Greek islands. More Giselle than Kate Moss, I'd say. But for years, Santorini was considered one of the Aegean's poorest places to live. This island has very little rainfall, but because of its fertile volcanic soil, everything that grows here is rich in flavour, including an old peasant dish that's still a Santorini speciality, and one of my faves. I'm heading to a local cafe in the village of Pyrgo to try the fava beans.
Kalimera, Adonis.
Kalimera, τι κάνεις?
Καλά, τι κάνεις?
Καλά.
Lovely to see you.
Antonis owns Cafe Brusco, where his fava beans are prepared in the same way that they would have been generations ago.
So this is the old school way, traditional way.
Yes, να κάνουμε, βάζουμε εδώ τη φάβα, βάζουμε τη φάβα σιγά σιγά.
Basically, the stone grinder
okay.
is taking off the shells and you're left with the favas.
Wherever you go in Greece, you'll be served fava beans. But the Santorini favas are unique to this island, and they've been granted special status. They're dried for a year before they're ready for grinding.
Πολύ καλά.
Oh.
Θα έρθεις να με βοηθάς εδώ.
Will you hire me? Do I have a job? Yes?
Once the bean has been ground out of the husk, they need to be separated.
Oh, πολύ ωραία.
As you swirl them, you can see the casings rising to the top. And then kind
Πολύ καλά.
And then...
Yes. Πολύ καλά.
And there they are. So this is for the chickens.
Yes.
And these are for us.
Yeah. This is very nice.
Very nice.
Πολύ ωραίο.
Πολύ ωραίο. Πολύ, πολύ, πολύ ωραίο.
Πολύ, πολύ ωραίο.
In our family, we are a little bit partial to the old fava bean paste. It's similar to hummus in texture, but the taste is sweeter. It's just delicious.
Far from its peasant roots, the Santorini fava is now an expensive gourmet product, harvested by farmers on the island. The locals here like to enjoy it as a dip, gently cooked into a smooth paste.
The moment of truth.
Γεια σου.
Oh.
Εδώ
Ευχαριστώ πολύ, Adonis.
Πολύ. From Santorini sweet wine.
Oh, ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Γεια σου, γεια σου. Δοκίμασε.
I have a feeling that this is going to be the best fava bean paste I've ever tasted. Mmm. Such a delicate flavour. They mix the fava beans for a long, long time. They heat them, they add olive oil, they add onion, they keep mixing, they scoop off the top of the surface. Oh, and they end up with this. This is Santorini in a little dish. It's just a demonstration of the deliciousness of the fruits and vegetables on this very, very fertile volcanic island. Not even 11, I'm drinking wine. Whoop, whoop. Winning.
I've had a taste of the old Santorini, but these days it's hard to escape the signs of the island's recent reinvention, catering to the massive influx of tourists. Sadly, one of the biggest downsides is what they leave behind. While laws are being introduced to ban single-use plastic, a huge amount still ends up in the sea every day. But I'm meeting someone who's doing something about it.
Yasu? Hello, hello. I'm Julia.
Nice to meet you, Julia.
Nice to meet you. Xanthi?
Hi, nice to meet you. Lefteris.
Lefteris, how are you, Lefteris?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Xanthi, the same name as one of my daughters, is the skipper of this boat, and she's taking us along the south coast of Santorini, past the famous white beach.
That's pretty incredible, isn't it? It's like a huge iceberg.
Born into a family of 5 generations of fishermen, Lefteris is determined to bring Santorini's waters back to their former glory.
What's the project? What's it called?
The name of the project is Enalia, which in Greek means together with the fishermen. I saw that together with the nets, the fishermen were collecting a lot of plastic. And I saw a can of Coca-Cola. It had a weird color, so I saw the expiration day, and it expired like in 1987.
And you realised how long all the rubbish stays down there.
Then the biggest shock was when the fisherman took it from my hand and threw it back in the sea. And he told me that's the problem we have.
And then he threw it back?
Yes.
So how are you and this project going to get over that?
So we give them now beams so as to put the plastic there. And then they bring it up in 7 ports currently in Greece, where we store it, and then we recycle and upcycle.
And these are made from plastic that's been collected by the fishermen, right?
Exactly. Specifically, this one is made from nets. They are turned into socks.
So you're upcycling and you're recycling?
Yes. And we are just getting started. So hopefully we're able to clean maybe 4 or 5 tons of marine plastic per week. Now our fishermen, they are so proud. They are really, really inspired, and they are talking to other fishermen because they see that in the areas that we do the project, the sea is becoming clean. And the fish are more again.
This is a subject that I'm really passionate about. This story and the people behind this story are genuinely inspiring. This is one of the problems that we're all living with. And these guys want to do something about it.
I've been told if I want to see what life on Santorini was like before tourism took hold, all I need to do is take a short boat ride.
Thank you. This is Therasia, baby Santorini. And you can see Mama Santorini over there about 10 minutes away. And this is how it used to be about 60 years ago. What a contrast.
It may share the same dramatic landscape as its glitzy neighbour, but Therasia really is like stepping back in time. This is the Greece always described to me by my mum. Just 3.5 miles square, much of its sparse mountainous landscape is uninhabited. Calling this place sleepy is an understatement. There are signs that tourism is starting to spread across the water from Santorini, but the visitors who come here rarely venture beyond the harbour. Maybe it's the steep climb that puts people off exploring. But fortunately, I've bagged the island's only taxi to take me to the top.
I think this is my ride.
And I'm definitely travelling in style.
It's the Pope-mobile. Hello, Yasu. Thank you. Lovely carpet. Oreo. Yeah, εντάξει. Ευχαριστώ.
It's a far cry from the black cabs.
The old kitchen cupboard door's a bit rickety, a bit wobbly. So it's definitely unspoiled, this island, isn't it? Couldn't be more different to Santorini. It's quite mad, really, to go from all that glamour and pulsating tourism to this sleepy little island.
An island that didn't even have electricity until 1980.
I'm going to get out here, wherever here is. Ευχαριστώ, Manoli. Oh. There we go. Thank you.
I've come to the capital, Manolas, but it's little more than a village. Strolling through its almost deserted lanes feels a world away from anything. The hub is the Church of St. Constantine, built over 100 years ago. And that's where I'm meeting Papa Lucas, the village priest of nearly 30 years.
Γεια σου, Papa Lucas.
Γεια σας.
Τι κάνεις?
Καλά, καλά εσείς.
What a beautiful church.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Behind us, this is very beautiful. I haven't seen...
This is grandfather.
Your grandfather made this?
Yes. Από ξύλα τα οποία βρέθηκαν στη θάλασσα τα χρόνια εκείνα, πιθανότατα από κάποιο ναυάγιο.
Shipwrecks. That's why it's so unique. How many people live on the island?
Σε όλο το νησί περίπου ζουν 250 κάτοικοι.
And what do you think of Santorini, which is so big?
Σαντορίνη πιστεύω ότι έχουν γίνει λάθη, τα λάθη φαίνονται σήμερα. Δεν ζητάμε πολλούς τουρίστες, ζητάμε ποιοτικό τουρισμό. Να αναπτυχθεί το νησί τουριστικά αλλά και ποιοτικά. Να μην κάνουμε το λάθος που έχει κάνει η Σαντορίνη.
What is so special about Therasia, the island? What is so ωραίο about Therasia?
Θεωρείται το ωραιότερο ηλιοβασίλεμα της Σαντορίνης στην Ία. Το ωραιότερο ηλιοβασίλεμα στη Σαντορίνη είναι στη Θηρασία, διότι δεν παρεβάλλεται τίποτε μπροστά στο ηλιοβασίλεμα αυτό, σε αντίθεση με την Ία που παρεβάλλεται η Θηρασία. Από την Θηρασιά δεν παρεβάλλεται τίποτα. Είναι όλος ο ορίζοντας ανοιχτός.
So they're all wrong. This is the place to come for the best sunsets, not Santorini. We're all wrong. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Ευχαριστώ κι εγώ.
Thiracia is the most untouched island I've been to so far. It's like stepping back in time. And even though it's so close to the glamorous energy of Santorini, it's a different world. I wonder how long it'll stay like this. Returning to Santorini after so many years really has been full of contrast. From 21st century luxuries to rustic, undiscovered charm. I certainly won't be leaving it so long before I come back again. Next time my Greek odyssey takes me to the Sporades, the Paradise Islands. Look, there's nobody here. Visiting Skiathos and Scopelos, I'll be discovering colourful local traditions. I feel very Greek and very hot. And taking in the blockbusting scenery of the Mamma Mia Island. That is just amazing. This is Greece, and look at that.
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
The Greek islands are held with great affection in the hearts of us Brits. Every year, 3 million of us head there for our holidays. And it's easy to see why. This is Greece, and look at that. I have a strong affinity with the islands. My mum is Greek. Although she despairs that I still can't speak the lingo. I'm proud of my Greek heritage, my Greekness.
Look my nose.
My nose. But I've only holidayed here, and I've never really explored beyond the tourist trail. Here we go. Until now. I'm going to see the hidden side. Wow, it's so beautiful.
Hello, everybody!
Look at it, it's so lush. From the historical and rugged terrain of Crete, I think I pulled.
Steady up. Yamas!
To the glamour of a sunset in Santorini.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Oh, thank you. Oh, look. But I'll also be taking in the lesser-known islands. From the architectural splendour of Symi to the natural wonder of Scopelos. Oh, it makes me proud to be just that little bit Greek. Before ending my journey on the island where my family story first began. This is a voyage of discovery, and I'm taking you with me. Crete is the largest of the Greek islands, and I've been here before walking. People flock for the gorgeous white sandy beaches and the abundance of ancient ruins. It marks the start of my travels around 9 of the most varied of the Greek islands towards my journey's end, back home in Chios. And where better to begin, given that it's the most popular of the islands with British holidaymakers. But there is so much more to Crete than meets the eye. And to discover the real Crete, you need to head inland. Known as the rustic and rugged island, Crete's vast interior is dominated by epic mountain ranges that reach 8,000 feet over sea level. And it's home to the Samaria Gorge, Europe's longest and deepest canyon. And the natural beauty is matched by its rich history. Crete is full of ancient treasures and mythic sites like the Palace of Knossos. In fact, history is at the centre of everything here. Crete's an enormous island. I've done a little bit of walking, but I'm cheating a bit today. I've got myself a lift. Jay?
Hi, Julia.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Good.
I'm half Greek, but even I'm going to need a guide who can not only navigate the toughest of terrain, but the language too. Right. Vame, vame, as they say.
Vame, vame.
As we're going well and truly off the beaten track. Jay swapped Manchester for Crete over 20 years ago. He's taking me up from the resort of Malia in eastern Crete to go off-road in the Dikti Mountains. So what am I going to see today?
Well, from here now we're going to head up into the mountains,
going to get to an altitude of about 1,200 metres. So on a part sort of Ben Nevis back in the UK.
Right, my ears will be popping a bit then.
It might be, possibly. And we're going to get a chance to see the true Cretans.
Crete is one of the few Greek islands that can support itself independently, with most rural people producing fruit and vegetables or breeding sheep and goats. We're stopping at the Lassithi Plateau, renowned for its exceptional produce, and it's known by the locals as the Plateau of Windmills.
Up until the 50s, there was over 10,000 of these water windmills which span the whole plateau.
After their introduction in the early 20th century, these windmills transformed Crete's agricultural landscape.
This is the most fertile place on Crete. So what would happen, the cloth sails would spin, it would bore down 9 metres to the water level. Familiar with Archimedes' screw?
Of course, another good Greek.
That corkscrews the water up and that would irrigate all the fields. And now a lot of farmers are re-renovating the old windmills. We're going to try and get it back to what it used to be, which was the oldest eco-park in the world.
Amazing! I love that.
So yeah, just give it a pull.
Okay.
And you can find where it tracks to the wind.
Right, okay, let's find that.
That's it, perfect.
Clever, the old Greeks, aren't they? What's this here? Look at that, there's a man with his van. Look, hey, he's brilliant.
That's the village shop.
I love that. A shop on the move.
I mean, what you find throughout today is that the Cretan first, then the Greeks.
Right. So what makes a Cretan a Cretan?
They're just so welcoming and warm. We have a sort of cultural word here called philoxenia.
Philoxenia.
If we stopped at someone's house now, they'd feed you, they'd welcome you with open arms. Absolutely beautiful people.
We're now climbing high up into the dusty Dictys Mountains. This is the Cretan wilderness, home to griffon vultures and golden eagles and mountain goats.
Ooh, don't drive over the edge.
Jay has brought me here to meet Yanni, a local shepherd whose family have been farming sheep and goats at the top of this mountain for decades. You don't get more rustic than this.
Hello. Γεια σου, Yanni. Καλημέρα.
Γεια σας, Yanni.
Καλώς ορίσατε.
Julia.
Giannis, καλά.
Good, that's as far as I
Πολύ
go.
ωραία.
So this is where you live?
Εδώ, κάτω, Κασταμόνιτσα.
So he's originally from Katsimanitsa, the village.
Yeah.
And what happens is he brings all the goats up the mountain for the whole summer.
Και εδώ, πότε.
They bring them here, and this is where they get milked, and this is where the cheese is made.
Παππούς μου, πατέρα μου και εγώ από 12 χρονών.
His granddad, his dad, and him.
Okay, so generation of generation.
3 or 4 generations.
Can I ask why the hairnet?
Το βγάζεις σκουπί στον υδρότα.
This is part of the traditional Cretan dress as well. Traditional black boots.
Yes, I like those.
Γυρώ.
Okay, let's go see
Hello,
some
Yanni.
cheese
Hello.
being made. Ella.
This little hut is where the magic happens, where Yanni transforms goat's milk into a Cretan cheese called mizithra.
So, what's going on in here?
Έλα, ρίχνουμε αλάτι.
So,
Salt.
underneath here,
Yep.
we've got the fire.
Γιώργη, ένα σγουρό.
You want it hotter,
Wants a bit more hotter.
Hotter. Feel the heat now.
So he's now separating the curds from the whey. He has to get it into decent-sized portions to then transfer it into whatever mould he's making. Now gets as much out as he can with his hand, and then he'll then force it out.
Look at the smile on his face.
Loves it.
Can I have a go?
Yeah. Hello, Yanni.
Or do I squash it down?
Squash it down.
Ooh.
Try and do it with your arms.
That is not the texture I was expecting. It's quite rubbery. It's like my kids' Play-Doh. Oh, that's good. Have a taste.
Good.
It's such a mild taste, yeah. Fresh as you like. Eating your curds and whey.
That's it.
Over the summer, Yanni says he makes about 25 cheeses a day. That's a whopping 3,000 a year. He sells some of them straight away to the local shops for about 10 or 15 euros a kilo, and he leaves the rest to mature.
This is the hard cheese.
This is the hard cheese.
So you've just let that mature?
2-3 months, left just on a wooden shelf.
And it becomes like this, like a
Then it becomes
Parmigiano kind of thing.
Parmesan, cheddar, really good for pasta sauces.
And what have we got here?
So this is raki.
Yamas.
This is traditional Cretan drink. Everybody drinks raki.
Oh, that's pure.
Beautiful.
Pure. And with a bit of cheese?
Bit of cheese. Perfect. There's nothing that can't be cured from raki.
Very good. Oreo, oreo. Mm.
Yamas.
Right, dancing on the tables next. Oh, Lord. Nothing that can't be cured with raki apart from drunkenness. You can't cure drunkenness with raki. Yamas.
Yamas, yamas.
Yamas.
Yamas!
Look at this man. I love this man. Look at that face. Oh, he's having a pull.
Steady up.
Two rakis are my limit, so best to head back down the mountain towards the coast now. But on the way, there's a piece of history that I have to tread on. The Minoans, one of the oldest civilizations in Europe, originated here on the island of Crete. And signs of their innovation can still be seen all over the place.
This is the Minoan path, built by the Minoans 4,000 years ago. And look, you can see the fortification of the road along the side. It's a cracking bit of architecture. And it's still here. I had to just jump out and put my feet on here.
Who knows, I might even be treading the same path as the mighty Theseus did when he came to Crete to slay the Minotaur. And it's the Minoans themselves who are leading me back down to the coast, to the historic town of Rethymno, one of the first settlements.
It's very easy to get lost in the maze of beautiful little cobbled streets here.
The Roman and Ottoman empires left their mark, so it's no surprise that it's home to some of the most time-honoured and age-old traditions. One of the oldest is one of my favourites.
This is baklava, phyllo pastry, dripping in honey, smothered in nuts, utterly delicious and quite calorific. Now, the Greeks and the Turks have had some disagreements over the years, but you might not have heard of the baklava conflict. Essentially, the Turks claim that baklava began with them and the Greeks claim the same. Whoever is right, it's just to die for.
When I was young, my Mama Moo used to make heaps of dishes with phyllo pastry, including spinakopita, spinach pie, and I can't get enough of it. I've heard tales of a living legend hidden in these back streets. The last traditional phyllo pastry master in Crete. Yorgo Hatsi Parashos. What? Try saying that with a mouthful of baklava.
So this is the magic flour. And this is sort of a large pizza-sized shape of the phyllo pastry that is about to become much, much larger at the hands of Yorgos.
Yorgos has been honing his art for over 75 years.
How old are you?
85. Το 46 μπήκα στη δουλειά.
He's keeping alive an age-old technique that's gone largely unchanged since the time of Homer's Odyssey.
I desperately want to touch it, but I'm restraining myself.
Today, he's helped by his son.
Do you think you're as good as your papa yet?
Not yet.
Not yet, nearly.
It goes by the years. All your life you're learning.
Look at that. Look at the skill. This keeps you fit.
His aim is to get the pastry ultra thin, so Yorgos is tossing and spinning the dough to stretch it out. And then his party trick.
Wow. It's so beautiful.
This man really is a pastry magician.
So what is the secret?
You have to be patient when you stretch the phyllo. You have to see the humidity. With this, you regulate the differences you have in the atmosphere. Dry, not so dry, little wet. You have to know what you will put.
So this is a real art.
Yes.
It's so lovely to watch. This is how thin the filo pastry becomes. It's like a fine tissue. Listen to that. Look how delicate that is. That is an art, come on.
The word filo translates as leaf, and it takes many leaves of this ultra-fine pastry to make baklava.
The moment of truth. That really is so special. Like crispy tissues.
Sweet tissues. It's like tasting a piece of Greek history. And I'm about to discover more of Crete's past when I visit the atmospheric island of Spinalonga, an island with a story.
The Greek Islands with Julia Bradbury. Brought to you by TUI Tours.
I'm in Crete, the largest of the 6,000 Greek islands. Each year, 2 million tourists flock to its 650 miles of coastline and descend upon the seaside hotspots, such as Agios Nikoulas and Falasana. I've left behind the rugged landscapes of the Dikti Mountains and headed west to the coastal town of Rethymnou. This ancient port is a magnet for artists and artisans, so it's brimful of authentic artifacts and curios. Like a lira. The Cretan lira is a legendary instrument unique to this island that predates the violin. And to this day, the sound of the lira is the soundtrack of Crete. And here in the town resides one of its master makers.
Nico. Hello. Hi, how are you?
Nico's a bit of a Greek god, isn't he? He was taught by his father, and he's been making Cretan lira since he was a child. Today, his lira sell for up to €1,000 each.
How long does it take to make a lira?
You need almost 100 hours. So
100
it's more,
hours.
it's more than 10 days and more.
That is really incredible.
Exactly. We have three parts, okay? On the back side, we use one piece. We use the in front and the tie, okay?
Yeah.
This work is always work with your mind. But the thing is that you always need your heart because it's a passion.
How important is this music to Crete, to Cretans?
The music is inside us. We love it so much, we can speak with the music for everything.
So music is your language?
I think for all of the people. Would you like to hear it?
I'd love to hear it, of course I
Okay.
want to hear it. Bravo! I don't know if I fell in love with the lira or Nico then.
Before I wrench myself away from Nico, I want to take the opportunity to try and learn some more Greek, to impress my mum with her mother tongue.
So you need to teach me one thing in Greek.
God said that ο Θεός να σε ευλογεί. The gods want to bless you.
Okay, so how do I say that?
Ο Θεός
Ο Θεός.
να σε ευλογεί.
Oh, that's hard. Ο Θεός να σε ευλογεί. Να σε ευλογεί.
Excellent.
Ο Θεός να σε ευλογεί.
Exactly.
Okay.
Γη. It's γη.
Ευλογεί.
Γη.
Ευλογεί.
Yeah, good.
I'll try.
Yes.
Thank you, Nico.
Okay.
Just a chance to hug him.
Yeah.
The Cretan lira is an emotive instrument that echoes the island's turbulent past. Throughout history, the Cretans have suffered. At the hands of the Romans, the Turks, and most recently the Nazis during the Second World War. And a short boat ride from the coast of eastern Crete is a little prison island with a haunting past. Spinalonga wasn't home to criminals. It was Europe's last leper colony. Widely believed to be the world's oldest disease, leprosy causes severe, disfiguring skin sores and nerve damage. lepers were stigmatised and treated as outcasts. And in Greece, if you caught leprosy, you were sent here, to Spinalonga, for good.
Such a short boat ride over from the mainland, but imagine if you knew that this was your last boat trip, that you were leaving your family, your friends, and your new life was waiting here. A new life with strangers. And this would be the place to die. Can't really imagine it, because now it all seems so pretty and so adventurous.
Since Victoria Hislop wrote a global bestseller about Spinalonga called The Island, it's become a tourist hotspot. And that's how I heard about this tragic story.
Spinalonga was called the Island of Tears. If you fell pregnant while you were here, they would check your baby for leprosy. And if they didn't have leprosy, obviously you'd be crossing your fingers, then your child would be taken away from you, taken back to the mainland to live with your family there. So you'd never see them again. This was a completely self-sufficient island. There were about 400 people that lived on the island, and there are lots of signs that people here were getting on with as normal a life as possible. The Nazis during the occupation of Crete wouldn't step foot on the island. They had no need to, and they were frightened as well. But apparently, snipers would sit on the mainland and take pot shots at the residents here, as if life wasn't bad enough here on Spinalonga. I mean, it looks very beautiful, doesn't it? But there's a very eerie feel here. Because you know behind all of these doors, but there would always be that shadow of sadness in your heart, wouldn't there? The life that you used to have. The last person left this island in 1957. That's not so long ago, is it? 60-odd years?
Spinalonga will leave a lasting impression on me. Crete has a rich history, passionate soul and beautiful landscapes. My next Greek island will certainly have a lot to live up to. Next time, my Grecian Grand Tour takes me to Corfu.
What a special, magical place.
The island renowned for being the least Greek of them all.
Oh, come on. Seriously. It's as if I'm in Venice.
I'll be trekking into its hidden heart in search of secret villages.
Because of the pirate attacks on the island.
Pirate, like real-life pirates.
Real-life pirates.
And exploring the unique character which makes it the melting pot of the Med.
Flavours, Katrina, are
The aftertaste.
incredible.
The aftertaste is incredible, yeah.
Corfu, on a plate.